Oh boy, so much to talk about in business this morning. We had the Dow and TSX on record closes. The Dow up at 20,000 and staying there. What could happen today, Mike?
Well, we're expecting actually a little bit more buying. The Dow yesterday, Kevin, just crushed the 20,000 threshold with a gain of 155 points at 20,068. And we saw the S&P and the NASDAQ, other market indicators on Wall Street all set records. And traders were basically saying you had a scenario where the market was waiting to see what the first few days of the Trump administration actually basically will lead to for the U.S. economy. We've seen a lot of executive orders. The Keystone XL pipeline go ahead, that was one. But other items that investors really keyed in on here and finally had the Dow surpassing the 20,000 threshold after bumping against that over several trading days previously. 9% rally since the U.S. election for the Dow specifically. The question is, are Americans actually benefiting from this? Because the statistics indicate 10% of the wealthiest Americans own 80% of the market. A lot of people were scared away from stocks back in the 08-09 recession. They never really came back in. Do they start to come back in now? Sort of late to the party. They've seen the momentum, though. Other people making money, so this has a tendency to build on itself. So we could see further advances above 20,000. The TSX is 14 points away from its previous record. Could break that easily today. We had a big deal announced last night for AltaGas, Calgary-based energy company, in buying WGL out of Washington, D.C. for $8.4 billion. Another driver of the markets, well, you never know what's going to go on in the restaurant industry on a day-to-day basis. And this morning, two of the big names in Canadian restaurants, McDonald's and A&W Canada, almost concurrently announcing the rollout of all-day breakfast. And McDonald's says that's going to start February 21st. They've been test marketing it at certain locations. A&W Canada, February 27th. Breakfast is a huge category. It's a big money maker. How much, though? That remains to be seen. In the United States, McDonald's rolled out all-day breakfast in late 2015. Big fanfare, big sales initially to the upside. The latest quarter, though, their U.S. same-store sales fell just a little bit. So again, is it hype, or do people, a lot of people want Egg McMuffins at 4 in the afternoon. We'll see how that goes. And McDonald's still dealing with the blowback from certain allergy sufferers, that whole rollout of the Score McFlurry, and now not being nut-free at Canadian locations, dealing with the negative PR that has generated. Who is going to pay for the wall? That has been much debated regarding the announcement yesterday by U.S. President Donald Trump to get started on building that wall between Mexico and the United States. Initially said Mexico would pay for it, now saying it'll be picked up by U.S. taxpayers to start. The estimates, though, indicate that Mexican workers working in the United States send back to Mexico $24 billion a year, which is actually more than Mexico generates from the domestic oil industry. So you could see a tax going out on those payments going back to Mexico, one way to potentially pay for that wall that is set to get started. And a big day coming up for the markets. We talk about why the Dow hit a record yesterday. Well, some of it was based on earnings. Boeing's numbers were off the chart. And today we'll hear from Caterpillar. That's a big industrial heavyweight out of the States. It's a Dow component after the bell. We'll also get results today from the likes of Microsoft, Intel, and Google's parent company, Alphabet. Kevin, back to you.
All right, thank you very much. A lot of what people aren't talking about too about illegal immigration to the U.S. out of Mexico, especially, is that almost half, I'm told, of the aliens there illegally arrive legally. So they say the wall is really going to have little impact, but it's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah, was a $14 billion estimate, and you're talking about some terrain that is pretty difficult to construct on, and whether or not it even works. And then again, getting back to this whole payment issue, it's the starting point. So it's an executive order. It still has to go through Homeland Security and various other levels to get final sign-off.
All right, Mike, thank you very much.